What's up, YouTube? I'm William Bitter, and this is my channel, Money Thoughts.
Money thoughts.
Everyone wants $1 million, but no one wants to put in the time and energy. No one has the patience that it takes to get $1 million. In this video, I want to show you that the simple decision to cut your own hair could lead to millions of dollars over the course of your life. I also want to show you that you don't actually need to be that skillful to give yourself a decent haircut, especially if you're a dude. I created a simple spreadsheet that will allow us to predict the future benefit of cutting your own hair and saving and investing that money over time. I'll put a link to the spreadsheet down below. All right, so in the spreadsheet that I created, these are the inputs. So I live in Chelsea, and the cost of a haircut on the low end is about 40 bucks, and after tip, it usually ends up being 50 bucks. And I would probably get a haircut every other month. So the monthly cost of a haircut for me here in Chelsea is $25. The average expected ROI of the stock market, if you look over the last 100 years or so, is about 10%. Inflation, around 2%. For dramatic effect, I want to assume that you're starting this when you're 18, just so we can see, like, over the course of someone's life, if they were to just cut their own hair, how dramatic of a return would they get? Another thing that I wanted to include is the opportunity cost of time. So basically, for me, it takes me about 20 minutes to cut my own hair. And at the barber, it also takes them about 20 minutes to cut my hair, sometimes even longer. But you've got to travel to the barber. That's probably going to take at least 10 minutes. You got to wait for the barber, it takes another 10 minutes, and then travel back another 10 minutes. Like, I kind of calculated it's at least 30 minutes of opportunity cost. So the average 18-year-old might only earn $20 an hour, but over the course of your life, you probably earn maybe like $40 an hour. So let's say you're earning $40 an hour, and that means that when you go get a haircut, you're missing out on about $20 of earnings potential. That's the opportunity cost you're spending your time getting a haircut. It's about 20 bucks. But since you're getting your haircut every other month, opportunity cost is really about $10 a month. So based on these inputs, this is what happens from when you're 18. So I also have over time everything going up with inflation. The cost of a haircut and your wages are all going up with inflation. So I have the nominal amount over time and then adjusted for inflation. So as we can see, over time, it doesn't look like much at first, but as you approach retirement age, 60, you've saved over $300,000 just by cutting your own hair. And then if you go just a little bit further, 72 years old, you're basically at $1 million. And then, if you just take like the average life expectancy, I believe is about 77 years. So over the course of your life, if you were to cut your own hair, you could save and invest about $1.6 million. However, you can argue that inflation, really your savings is really about $500,000. But that's still pretty impressive just from the simple act of cutting your own hair. And I'm not saying that cutting your own hair is the way that you become a millionaire, but it's one tool that you can put in your toolbox that will help you build a financial future where you do have millions of dollars. And then I don't know about you guys, but I plan on living to 100. So like, the compounding power, the powerful compounding effects of money. We take the same 77-year-old that has $1.6 million, and by the time they're 100 years old, that's almost $15 million. Adjusted for inflation, almost $3 million. Perhaps you won't be alive at that moment, but think about your kids, your family. This could be the compounding effects of wealth. Your kids could have that money, and they could have, and then instead of starting from zero, like you might have started, your kids could start from like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, which, as you can see, starting from, 1 million at 87, it only takes 13 years to become 3 million. So for me personally, I started cutting my own hair during COVID. And I would always joke that if there's ever an apocalypse, I'll be one of the few people with a decent haircut. So recently I was like, you know what? Well, you can afford to go to the barber. Like, let's just go to the barber, pay for a haircut, like treat yourself, you know. You've been working really hard and and you have the money and you can afford it. So I went to the barber, but what I realized is like the amount of time like I went there, I wasn't sure about them, and then like I was waiting, and while I was waiting and I looked, and I just had these flashbacks to like haircuts that I've gotten that I wasn't that happy about. Not because they did a bad job, but just I don't know how to explain it. Like I maybe wanted something slightly different or whatever it was. Like I wasn't that happy and I spent all this money and then and kind of leaving there like I could have done a haircut that looked just like this, you know. And so I kind of ran out the door and I was like, I'm just gonna cut my own hair. And then I cut my own hair and I'm like, it looks fine. So I just had this like realization. I'm like, I don't think, you know, even now that money isn't really a factor for me, like I don't see the reason to pay someone else to cut my own hair. um I feel like I do a good enough job, and later in this video, I'm just gonna have basically an unedited step by step of how I cut my hair, which you'll see is very like chaotic, and you know, I just kind of like go for it, and you can be the judge. This is my haircut. I did it a few days ago, and you can be the judge and try it at home, and maybe watch some other tutorials that are a little bit um, you know, more professional than mine. But I just want to show you that me, someone that doesn't really know how to cut hair, can just kind of go and do it, and it's not the end of the world. And it can save you tons of money over the course of your life. This is the first video that I've done without a t-shirt. So I guess this is like my gateway entry level into the slippery slope that will eventually lead to OnlyFans. So get ready for that. So you guys can download this and enter in your own numbers, but actually, for me personally, I actually believe that the returns of the stock market are going to be higher going forward than they have been in the past because of technological advances. Everyone has a different opinion, but I think the ROI is going to be 15%. And also for me, the opportunity cost of getting a haircut because of the money that I make is approximately $20 a month. So for me, it's a little different. And then I'm also 35 years old. This is my expectations, and these are my numbers. You can put your own in, but as you can see, for me, by the time I'm basically at $1 million by the time I'm 73. Um, you know, and um, and you know, a lot of people when I tell them stuff like this, like, yo, like if you just saved and invest, you'd have like $1 million by the time you're 73. And they're like, oh, but like what about now? And I'm like, well, yeah, I understand that logic, but if you don't do this, the alternative could be that at 73 you have zero. So it's like, yes, it takes a long time to save and invest and reach a level where you could retire or not have to work. But the alternative is if you don't do this, if you don't have certain methods that are going to accumulate your wealth, then at 73 you have zero. Then that means you have to work when you're 73 or you're screwed, or like, you know. So the logic of like, oh, so takes so long, like for me, I'm like, this is like one thing you can do, it's not that hard, that could lead to like a guaranteed $1 million in your old age, which obviously, you know, adjusted for inflation might be half that, $450,000. But even still, $450,000 is better than nothing. Yeah, so this chart is just like 55 years, and this one zooms all the way out to like 88 years. So I'm a little bit of an extreme optimist. Like I personally think I might live to like 120 years old because of technology. I know that there's also a good chance I get hit by a car tomorrow, or like just live to 80 or 90. But I think just having the mindset of living a long time, um, it gives you the possibility, you know, even if it doesn't happen. Just having that mindset, I think, you live a happier life that way. I personally think so. And so, as you can see, you know, as we approach 120 years old, just cutting my own hair could lead to like $500 million nearly, or adjusted for inflation, almost $100 million, over the course of like a very long lived life, which I don't know. We'll see what happens. But even just looking at like the life expectancy of 77, just cutting my own hair from this point on, as a 35-year-old, reaching $1.7 million in savings just from cutting my own hair. Feel free to watch the video of me cutting my own hair. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Do you cut your own hair? Are you thinking about it now? Did this video have any like impact on you? And yeah, peace. All right, it's gonna sound kind of crazy, but these are just like $2 scissors, not even sharp or anything. And I'll start with the top, and all I do is I just hold it up and I just cut across. Like, I kind of just decide how long I want my hair to be. So I think I'm gonna go like that long approximately, and then I just start cutting. And I have to kind of work my way through it because the scissors aren't very sharp. And I just throw that down. And then you'll see from there, when I try to do the same thing, the hair falls out of my hand. But like, for example, here, I can do it. And honestly, it's kind of guesswork. And I just go all the way. Just go all the way back. I think, yeah. I don't know. Am I doing it right? I'm just trying to think if there's anything like, yeah, like, I guess. There's a couple strands here. Kind of like that. So you can kind of just feel there's certain ones that stick up. And yeah, I just kind of do that all the way back to the back. And I think just because like men, they don't really need to have perfect uniform in their hair anyway. Honestly, I'm just kind of feeling it in the back. Like I'm not even, I can't see. It's just like what's sticking up. To be honest, I have a gala that I'm supposed to speak at, and I was debating whether I should pay for a haircut since I'm gonna be emceeing for a gala with probably hundreds of people. And the last thing I want to do is show up with like a shitty haircut. But I'm just like, you know what? As soon as you put product in it and put on a suit, people really, they don't really notice your haircut. Like, I feel like whatever I do here doesn't really matter as much as everyone thinks their haircut is more important than it actually is. What's important is your energy that you bring, your smile, yeah, that piece looks like it's sticking out. Boom. Piece looks like it's sticking out. Boom. I don't know. Maybe I should like go down this line and just see like what's sticking out more. This looks like it's sticking out. With the mirror, sometimes it's like, which way is forward, which way is backward? I think that's enough. What do you guys think? Is there anything that looks... God, if a hairstylist saw me doing this, they'd be like, what the fuck? It's like... I'm a little scared I'm doing too much on the top. I can't really see it. But I feel like I need to take a little bit more. But probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the buzzers. A lot of it's gonna look much better once I get the buzzers involved. Or sorry, clippers, they say. All right, so let's do some clipping. I think I'm gonna do pretty short. Oh, gross. Sorry. My bathroom floor is disgusting, so if I drop something on the floor here, I get like really grossed out. Alright, plugging in the clippers. It's a 1/4 inch. Should be good. Alright, let's do it. And then I just kind of like form a line here, like right around, like kind of right where your hair, this little thing goes to the top of your head, and just kind of make a line, and I go right up to that line. From the bottom to the top, and I work my way like a lawnmower. Just like a lawnmower, mowing the grass. Nice, not too bad. And then sometimes I just kind of like curve my hand, like I'll put where the line is and I'll just kind of try to curve it further. That's one side, to the other side. And kind of the same thing. Just kind of see that line there. And just try to follow that back. And if I see like little things sticking out right there, I just kind of try to get over it or pull it back. And then I basically try to do the same without seeing, I'm just continuing this line. Across. Now I'm just kind of trying to like honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I just know. I don't think it looks terrible. This side looks a little like this needs to be trimmed or something. I'm just gonna like so sometimes, to be honest, I do use the camera. What I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna like put my finger and make a line to make sure I don't go all the way up. And I'm just gonna shave upwards. And maybe I'll even move that line up a little bit. Oh boy, I'm just a little anxious because I have a speech, but normally I don't overthink this too much. See these, like, this hair? I'm just gonna, I can kind of just see that there's like extra hair back here. Oh god, what did I just do? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna take a glance with my phone. This is how I usually do it. Oh wait. Okay. This is how I usually do it. So I take a glance like this with the camera actually. Oh, so the back actually doesn't look terrible. So sometimes I look back and I'm like, alright, like is this continuing here? And like I'm like, okay, maybe I take a chunk like that out of it, so it continues better. But then let's see on this side, kind of continues, and then that actually doesn't look too bad. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. I feel like the back is a little bit long. Like it should be shorter than the front. I don't really know how to handle that. I guess I could like, oh god, yeah, I don't want to fuck it up. Yeah, I'm not gonna fuck it up. You know what? I could take the clippers and do like the biggest, like one of the bigger. Just gonna put like this size, let's see, it's 3/4 of an inch. I'm just gonna kind of go over the back. Maybe that didn't even do anything. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm a little scared. Okay, let's see what that did. Let's see what that did. Oh, actually looks good, I think. It's a little bit shorter now. Yeah, that actually looks good. I think now I just want to get rid of this little tiny spot. Sorry, just 1 second. Put the 1/4 inch back in. And yeah, I'll actually use my phone. How do I usually do this? I think I do this. Oh my god, I don't know. The camera keeps changing. Oh, I know how I do it. I remember now. I do this, and then I basically put my thumb here. The camera keeps like zooming in automatically, I think. So that way I know, like right under my thumb, that's what I gotta get. There we go. Let's see. Hey, alright. Let's see if that worked. Yeah, I think so. So now I have to go around the edges. I'm gonna switch. Alright, so now I kind of have to go. Now I'm gonna do this thing where I basically make this like short. Like see how there, you can like change the distance from the blade and the thing. So I'll make it nice and short, and then I just go around and I'm just like taking some of that like little extra hair that's touches your ear. That's it. Try not to get too carried away with it. Alright, the other ear looks like there's more on this side. Try to follow up that same line, but then just like make it go up a little bit over the ear. And I'm just kind of using the corner. Yeah, I can't really see past this. You can see it, I can kind of almost feel when I touch the hairline back there. And then the last part is just the back. Let's see if I can pull this out. Okay. The back is, yeah, so that doesn't look terrible, right? I always get like turned around. Yeah, so like that. To be honest, I find it with the camera because the mirror makes everything backwards, which makes it difficult to know which way to move. Oh my god. Sometimes it's easier to imagine this way and then yeah. Okay. The camera keeps zooming in automatically. Maybe I went a little too much. Oh good, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's see. Other side. Alright, so I think it's easier sometimes to just like put my thumb and then just feel it almost without looking. It's sometimes easier. Let's see. I'm gonna do that real quick. And then I just go down the neck a little bit too, because why not? Alright, so all I did was keep my hand there, and I just kind of went down. It's not perfect, but honestly, it's fine. Like I said, when people are looking at you, don't even really notice this stuff. Alright, so then here, honestly, looks fine to me. I think that's done. Yeah, so boom, I guess haircut. Is there anything sticking out? So let's see when I take a shower and shave and then put some product in. You know, you guys can be the judge. So yeah, this is haircut. Not too bad. For like sort of half-assed quick. Not too bad for like a sort of half-assed quickie in the bathroom. 20 minutes, right? This is before any product, so before any product. I guess I'll put some product in, but you probably won't be able to tell the difference until it dries anyway, so yeah. And hey, look, the whole point of this exercise is just to show you that, you know, $35 a month of savings over time compounds ridiculously, and over your lifetime it's ends up being million, sometimes a few $1,000,000. So cutting your own hair is one way to get there, but there's tons of ways to save $35 a month. Save and invest your money.